Hi, folks. This is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. Visit me on the web at www.subwaysurfer.blogspot.com. All right, enough of the shameless plug. Let's go on. In this segment, part three of how I became a caricature artist. I'm just going to move you along a couple of years. Told you in the last segment, start out with Larry Youngstein at 75 an hour. Went through the first couple of months of what I consider to be horrifying gigs because I was a beginner doing horrible caricatures and just kind of developing my craft, developing my confidence, and needing to go through that. Like I said, needing to, like a professional fighter, rather like an amateur fighter, going through those first couple of fights, taking hits, learning how to bob and weave, caricature. I can't even make the word up. Anyway, metaphorically speaking, taking the hits, until I, became able to handle the adrenaline rush that always accompanies drawing and still does, to this day, that level of excitement. Still get butterflies, when I draw, but now it's not a fear kind of thing. It's like an excitement kind of thing. And that's the reason why you have to draw a lot. So, what I started doing, after developing confidence, through going to these gigs with Larry, I started doing advertisements on my own, sending out flyers, making contacts with people. I guess I need to say this right away. When you're working for an agent, like Larry was my agent, never ever screw your agent. Never ever screw your agent. What I mean by screw your agent, don't ever think about handing out your business cards when you're at an agent's gig. After all, the agent is the one who is responsible for you being there. The agent is there to promote themselves. If you hand out your business cards, it's unethical. You're promoting yourself. You might get a job out of it, but let me tell you, that's something that's, if it gets back to the agent, your history with that agent, and this is a very small industry, you will develop a reputation for being a con artist and a beater, so never do that. I really need to emphasize that. Anyway, so I went about to look for my own gigs, and I began getting some, but I noticed that my caricatures, were still not up at the level that I needed them to be. Had a historic thing happen to me. I was on 42nd Street, and I saw this black caricature artist. I had never seen a black caricature artist. I thought I was the only one in existence in New York, and his name was Kenly-Dillard. And it was a turning point for me when I met Kenly-Dillard because he was in front of McDonald's on just off of Broadway, in front of McDonald's on 42nd Street, doing caricatures. And I mean, this guy was fantastic, just fantastic, just drew without fear. So I sat down in his chair, told him who I was, told him I was a caricature artist too, thought I was the only black one, and found out that he was, and we just started chatting. And so I sat in his chair, and he drew me faster than anyone that I've ever seen draw before up until that point. And it was tremendously accurate, almost too accurate. I didn't like the caricature at first because, like most people, I thought I was better looking than I actually was. But Kenley told me the truth, And so I struck up a friendship with him, and Kenley encouraged me to take my act on the street. And actually, I mean, just out of nowhere, I mean, a totally complete stranger just taught me the ropes of drawing live caricature on the streets of New York. He told me what supplies to use. He told me where to set up. He taught me how to deal with customers, how to handle hecklers. He taught me what to ask for. He taught me how to negotiate. He taught me how to deal with the cops and what to say. I mean, just everything that I ever wanted to know about street caricature, Kenly-Dillard taught me, and I'll always be grateful for him for that because I mean I was a stranger He didn't know me, and quite frankly, since I was, working beside him, on, a lot of the occasions, I was his competition, potentially. But Kenley had, that much confidence in his own ability, which is very important, by the way. If you're going to be a caricature artist, he had so much confidence that it didn't really matter how good I was becoming or how good I was, because he knew that he was good also. And so he was willing to teach me. And I guess, in a sense, it's because when he started, he told me in later years, when he started, there was no one to help him. He had to find out all of the things that he learned on his own. And he made a promise to himself, I guess, that, if he met somebody who, I guess, considered worthy, he would teach them what he knew. And that's what he did. So we did that, for a while, and drawing on the street just opened up my mind to just a lot of things. Most of all, I'd have to say that drawing caricature on the street taught me a lot about improvisation. It taught me a lot about presentation. It taught me a lot about selling. You really have to be a people person if you're drawing on the street, especially drawing on the streets of New York. You learn to develop a kind of thick skin, because people can be very condescending, sometimes very cruel, especially tourists. There is, be honest, a perception, in drawing in street caricature, where tourists mistakenly think that Asian artists are better, than Americans, you know, because there is an abundance of Asian artists not really drawing caricatures, but really just drawing portraits of people in charcoal and saying they're caricatures, and some of them just outright steal art, caricature art, from websites, and put it up on their stands and draw portraits. And this is what tourists see. And so when they see, you know, an American, sitting there, especially an African American, they think, well, you're not as good as this Asian guy, and maybe you're running some kind of a scam. I'm not making a value judgment, folks. That's, just what I've found out, and actually, what I've heard, with my ears. Let's go to the Chinese guy because they draw better than these guys. I've actually heard that, But like I said, I don't want to make this a racial thing. But anyway, I just want to emphasize that it's important when you're first starting out. Number one, to draw a lot, like I did. Number two, to find yourself a mentor. I can't tell you how to find a mentor. I can't tell you how to do that. But all I know is that if you are fortunate enough to find one, however you approach them, like I approached Kenley, in this sense, and just watched him draw, watched how he executed his craft. It's not like Kenley told me, okay, draw your line this way and now shade this way. No, I just watched him. And there's something that comes, something that happens when you really, really watch a professional do their work. It's almost like you develop a similar kind of skill just by looking. I can't explain it, but I just know that it definitely happens. So you need to find a mentor also. And so that's just another puzzle, another puzzle piece in my development on how I became a caricature artist. Now, in part four, I'm going to tell you what definitely catapulted me and just increased my skill exponentially, that makes me definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, into the artist that I am today. So stay tuned.